Hi, my name's Pamela La Luz, and some know me as the Alchemist of Sound. And I just had to share with you something that happened that was so sensational to me, and it was an experience that I will never forget. I had the opportunity to be in the band of totality for the eclipse that just happened just a week ago today. And the reason why it was so significant to me is the fact that the owner of Crystal Tones, I work with crystalline alchemy all the time. And I was so touched that one of the owners asked me if I wanted to join them, and they were going to be on the river where the sun was going to be completely in the sky in an incredible pattern. And so even though I had just driven all night long from California, there was something within me that said, go, go, go anyway. And so I checked on my mother to make sure that my mother was okay. And because my mom was okay, I decided to go ahead and make that journey. And so I took this bowl, which is quite a huge bowl. I had all the bowls with me, but this bowl in particular, I decided, because it's an azestulite, and azestulite is like one of my favorite stones. The reason being is that it resonates with the light of the central sun. And I thought it would be perfect. In fact, it literally was calling to me the night before out of the back of my car saying, I want to be near the eclipse. And I said, well, we're not going because I'm going to check on my mom. It was almost like these babies were talking to me all the time. And I do have a pretty special relationship with crystalline structure, because crystalline structure is very much like the camera that I'm looking at right now. The reason it can take videos is because it has crystal chips in it. And a lot of our technology is because it is using crystal, because crystal stores information, and information is stored in crystals for our use and for our data. And the main use and reason we have crystals, I believe, is to remind us of who we really are. And so I was so excited to take this bowl up to the eclipse. And it was really interesting. As I was driving there, I had read a lot about what was on the internet, but I asked my being, and I asked my little buddies that were in the car with me, I said, what is the significance really of this eclipse? And what is the significance completely for me in my life right now? And you know, it was so interesting. What I heard that came to me almost like a breeze coming through the aspens was just a download of sweet information that said, and here comes the breeze, that said, there's many layers. It's almost like the stars that are layered one after another, and as you look in one particular spot, you'll see more stars behind and even more behind as you tune in and you focus. And basically what I was feeling and intuiting was that there were layered meaning of this eclipse for humanity. And one of those meanings that we're starting to discover is this idea of separation. That this separation doesn't have to happen, and especially separation that happens within ourselves is the most important place that we can heal separation. And when the sun comes in front of, or the moon comes in front of the sun, it's almost like the dark shadow, the parts of ourselves that we don't want to even face, or the parts of ourselves that we think are so dark we don't want anyone to know about. So we disown them and we make them separate. And most of the time what we do is then project what we don't own in ourselves, that's happening within ourselves, onto somebody else. Now that's not it's something that happens, and in some ways you can look at it as good, because when stuff is bothering you outside, if you'll take a look and see that it could be a projection of disavowed things in yourself, then you have the ability to really make peace with those things. And then you don't have to project them outward, which means your outward circumstances start to change, because they no longer have to be that part of yourself that you don't love. And you can have better relationships. So what happened when I was thinking about that, which was so powerful, was to say, take those things within yourself and embrace them with compassion and love. The same love that you have for a child that maybe is learning to walk and falls. If you knew how to do better, you would do better. And when you do better, you'll love yourself even more. But if you could just love yourself even in your humanness, we could end so much separation because it wouldn't be projected out anymore. So really, coming to that place of self-love was so important. And then the next thing that came to me was the idea of the moon representing the feminine and the sun representing the masculine, how coming together in unification and totality of balance, where you were really together like this in a relationship with love and support, and you treasured those things, but you also, with this little spiral, how one's not better than the other. They kind of create this bond together of totality. So it was almost like a new era coming to the earth where we will start having more balance within those male and female aspects of ourselves and be able to love all of it, all of it. And also even just calling in the type of union with people that you would prefer to work with and play with and create with, creating those type of lovely, lovely relationships that are based in love and support of one another in your differences, and yet your totality in your differences. And then the final thing that was so wonderful and was the idea that the real powerful meaning for me, especially in my life and what's happening on our planet right now, is to recognize that that portal, when the darkness goes over the sun and it looks like the sun isn't there anymore, but the sun's still there, but it was almost this thing that there is a portal within our being, a portal into our heart, where we can turn on the light of our own inner divinity and share the magnificent radiance of who we really, really are, and that we didn't have to look outside ourselves for that, that that's who we are by divine birthright. We are these dynamic beings, dynamic, magnificent beings, having an earthly experience. And now this bull, even as I say that, is starting to sing, and this is the part that I couldn't wait to tell you. So I traveled up the mountain, and as we started together in this beautiful circle, but then we went, as the eclipse was happening, to different places, and I climbed up a huge mountainside with that great big case over there, and I went to the top of the mountain, and I was playing as the eclipse started, and the sun was still shining, and I was playing really soft like this. But right before the eclipse started in its huge totality, all of a sudden, this beautiful bowl that is a zestiolite, which resonates with the light of the central sun and the I Am Presence, started singing so loud and so magnificent. But again, I've got to tell you, I was only playing her like this. And the sound that came out of it, I was almost wishing someone had been on the mountaintop with me, because it was so loud and so exquisite, and it was almost miraculous hearing all of this communication coming out of this one bowl as I held it up to the eclipse. And I looked around thinking, is anybody hearing what I'm hearing? It was truly a moment of magnificence, and as I had looked down, there were diamonds floating all over the water, and when the sun was eclipsed, the moon, it was actually so dark with the moon in front of the sun that all of a sudden the stars came out, and it got instantly cold. So it was a little almost kind of eerie in some ways too, because you felt the power of the cosmos. To have the sun go dark for a few moments was the power of the cosmos. But it was so beautiful to think, as I was hearing, to go and know that that sun is shining bright within me, within my being, and that is where I need to go and mine that more. so that light can just shine. And so that light can shine for all of you too, and you can feel that brightness during dark days, and you have that place of refuge that is your divinity. And what is beautiful about that is I came down the mountainside, I realized all of these amazing bulls happened to be in the band of totality, drinking in all that information from the cosmos that was just so incredible. And I pair F sharps, which is the high heart, with the pineal, which is the center of the brain, and is another place where ancient civilizations, one of the places when you meditate and you allow the energy to go up the spinal column and the spinal fluid, it explodes in the pineal, which happens to be another gateway where you can experience your divinity. So that's why you'll see me put so many F sharps, which is the wisdom of our being, with these pineal tones, because then you create harmony between those. And entrain just by listening to sound. Here's another F sharp in a citrine, where you can move the sound around the body. And it's an incredible one. This is for manifestation, and because it's heart, abundance, it resonates with the third chakra, which is your power, your self-worth, your self-esteem. And so it's a really powerful bowl to be able to move when you have stuck energy in this area. It's wonderful to use the power of sound to move you back into harmony. So that's an incredible bowl. And then I even have this diamond bowl here, but I do know that this bowl obviously has a parent, and I know who this belongs to, as far as having a what do you call someone who watches over them and uses them in their work, is a Diamond Julie out of South Africa, who works with the diamond grid and the crystalline grid. She will go crazy when she finds out that this bowl was here in that band of totality, because it is filled with so much divine information. Now, another thing I'm going to show you real quickly, because I had a morganite. It's so fun that this beautiful rose is with this morganite bowl, because this morganite bowl is compassion and unconditional love, and it's in a crown. So this frequency is so beautiful for calling in that crown energy. And it probably will work really good with something like that in a grounding thing with a crown. You can hear that beautiful lift. I do love to also put them with, this is a mother of platinum bowl, which is very much like the divine feminine. And these two together create what you would call a binaural beat. And what that means is there's kind of like a boop, 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 boop. Now I can create a little bit more resonance with some bowls like this, but I love to do this because when you create binaural beats, there's a hormone that's secreted in your brain that usually only babies have until the age of 6 or 7, that help them learn so quickly and integrate information. So when I'm playing bowls at an event, I like to have some binaurals so that we can start integrating the new information that we can use, so that it doesn't just stay floating in our mind and never to be able to use. And then this happens to be a Tibetan quartz with emerald, which is heart. And even this in a pineal with heart, and in a pineal, that is that integration of the heart and the mind in just one bowl, which is an emerald bowl, which is so beautiful. But look what else I have over here. This is kind of fun because I also had a super grade. Now not only were these bowls downloaded with the information that I had from the light of the central sun, or the sun from the eclipse, these bowls also had been at the Rika event and had incredible information about self-worth and letting go of judgment of others and ourselves, and moving into the divine beings that we are, and moving back into play and creating a planet that we love one another and actually can truly care for one another. So incredible information was also stored in these bowls. And This one in particular is Larimar, which I think is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful bowl with platinum. And it's in another F sharp. I put the F sharp with this pineal of pink gold. And again, these two play together in a beautiful set so that you can create that wonderful alliance with your heart and your mind. Because the heart has wisdom, the mind knows not of. And that's why it's wonderful. We don't want to get rid of the mind, but we would like the mind to follow out the dictates of the knowing of our heart, because our heart really is connected to who we truly are. And so this is that pineal note in a citrine again, which is personal power, and it's very grounding. So this makes an amazing set. A lot of times you can place like this bowl will nest in that, and that bowl will nest in that, and you get a whole chord. Plain bowls like that. So that is a really fun one. And then this is a Dead Sea salt. This is literally from the Dead Sea. So a lot of Christ consciousness from that area, from that time. And it's in a heart, a high heart. It's just beautiful. I think of unconditional love and compassion. And it was fun to actually even float in the Dead Sea and have that lift you. And you think about how love and unconditional love is the thing that helps make us light and buoyant in our lives and float. This is an amethyst in a G sharp. And a G sharp is a zeal point, which works the thymus, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. And it's a beautiful bowl in an amethyst. And amethyst is a lot of spiritual crown energy, opening up the crown for spiritual wisdom to come through. And because it's in a G sharp expression and also works this third eye, this bowl, working with this bowl would probably help you really, not probably, I actually know it will. It will help you resonate so that you have a real spiritual vision, and that you're able to speak what's coming through and have the courage to do that. So this is a really, really amazing, wonderful bowl to pair again with even a heart bowl. And then you've got another emerald. Actually, that's an Andara, which is another amazing crystal that is literally just coming onto the planet right now. And then I had this malachite bowl. Malachite is for incredible leadership, extreme leadership, creativity, and confidence. And it is paired with palladium. And look how gorgeous the inside of that bowl is. It's just a really, really gorgeous bowl. So this again is in the pineal. So it would be for visionary leaders. This would be a beautiful bowl again to pair with something like the heart or something grounding that information. And I would usually place something like this that is in the mind of leadership and bring it down into the body, into this realm, grounding it into what we're doing, because we came to this earth to be able to create and bring that information into this existence. We didn't want to just live up there, or we would have stayed there. We literally came for a human experience for a reason. And so that's why it's wonderful to bring these energies from heaven to earth. And then this is a Lemurian seed crystal, which is another really interesting for those of you who know much about Atlantis or Lemuria, a very loving civilization that knew a lot and knew sound. And I have so much to share with you. I can't wait to do this course that I'm going to be doing. It's going to be an 8-week course, and we're going to dive deep into all of the things about crystals and how they correspond to the body and the different crystal configurations that would help you in your life and your business and your family. And I work with doctors and teach regular doctors. It's not just woo-woo anymore. Regular doctors like cardiologists and anesthesiologists and gynecologists and family practitioners and people that do acupuncture. They've all recognized the power of sound to help heal their patients. And a lot of cancer oncologists are using this kind of sound to help their patients heal, because there's something that happens when you play crystalline sound that your body relaxes. And when you let go of the stress response, your body is so brilliant, it really could start healing itself. And this is a rose quartz, and I love rose quartz. And when I'm feeling down and blue, I pick up a rose quartz because rose quartz really does vibrate with self-love, divine love, love for relationships, love for the earth. It's just literally being immersed in the frequencies of love. It's hard to beat that. So all of these things, you know, on their own were amazing, but now they are really been downloaded and activated with information that the cosmos knows. And by playing these bowls, somehow I'll start to understand more of those things just by playing the alchemy, which is, I think, a really amazing thing. So, if you're interested in joining me on this 8-week journey, it will be really fun, and we are going to dive deep. And if any of these bowls seem to resonate with you and you think that you might be the steward for these beautiful babies, because they're kind of special on the earth right now, get in touch with me and we'll talk about it and see how they might enlighten your life.